My cousin's ex stood up mid-wedding to read his texts, then the bride grabbed the mic and flipped it. I've only seen one wedding where someone stood up during the speak now part, and it was my cousin Ryan's. Last summer, our whole family packed into this old church with tall windows and way too much echo. Ryan was at the altar in a dark suit, smiling like he was trying to convince himself. Jessica stood beside him in her dress, chin up, eyes forward, like she had everything totally under control. The priest did the vows, nice and slow. Ryan said, "I do." Jessica said, "I do." People finally relaxed a little. You could almost feel the room think, "Okay, we're safe." Then the priest said, "If anyone has a reason these two shouldn't be married, speak now, or forever hold your peace." It was silent for a beat. Then a woman in the back stood up. I recognized her right away. Sarah, Ryan's ex. She hadn't been around the family in years. She didn't wave or smile. She just said, loud and clear, "Before you marry him, you should know he's been texting me for the past 6 months." Ryan's face went blank. Not shocked, not angry, just blank. Jessica turned toward him so fast her veil shifted. "That's not true," she said, but she was staring at Ryan, not Sarah. Ryan opened his mouth, then closed it again. Sarah walked a few steps up the aisle, holding her phone like a badge. "I'm not guessing," she said. "I've got the messages." Ryan took one step forward like he was going to stop her, then froze when everyone turned to look. Jessica said sharp, "Ryan, give me your phone." He didn't move. Sarah started reading right there in the church. "Miss you, babe," she scrolled. "I hate pretending I'm fine." She scrolled again. "Can't wait to see you after the honeymoon." Every word hit the room like a stone. A few people gasped. A few people started whispering. Someone's phone camera light blinked on. One of the bridesmaids grabbed Jessica's arm like she thought Jessica might fall. The priest took half a step back like he didn't know where to stand anymore. Jessica held out her hand for the ring, then stopped. She stared at Ryan and said, "Tell me she's lying." Ryan stared at the carpet. He didn't say it. He didn't even look up. That's when Jessica ripped her engagement ring off and threw it at him. It bounced off his chest and landed right near his shoes. "Are you serious right now?" she snapped. Ryan whispered, "Jess, please," like that was going to fix anything. Sarah still wasn't done. She lifted her phone again and said, "And Jessica, he told me you were just a placeholder until he figured out how to win me back." Ryan lurched forward and reached for Sarah's phone, but she yanked it back and held it high. The priest finally spoke, shaky. "Please, let's calm down." Nobody listened. The church went so quiet I could hear fabric rustling when people shifted in the pews. For a second, everyone waited for Jessica to break. Instead, she started laughing. Not a small laugh. A loud, steady laugh that made people look at each other like, "Is she okay?" Jessica wiped her face, grabbed the microphone from the priest and said, "This is actually perfect." She turned toward the groomsmen and pointed. "Because I've been seeing Mark for 8 months." Mark was Ryan's older brother. He was standing up front in a suit like nothing was wrong. But when Jessica said his name, his eyes finally met hers, and he gave the tiniest nod. Sarah's mouth fell open. Ryan spun toward Mark like he'd been punched. Jessica raised her phone. "Mark's the one who warned me about Sarah," she said. "He showed me the texts. He told me everything." Then she looked right at Sarah. "We didn't just find out today. We planned this." Sarah stuttered. "You're lying." Jessica shook her head. "Want to hear Mark's messages?" she asked. "He's been calling you both a joke." Mark finally stepped into the aisle and loosened his tie like he was getting comfortable. He looked at Ryan and said, "Hey, little bro." Ryan's hands were shaking now. "Stop," he said. "Please stop." Mark didn't stop. He nodded at the flowers, the fancy setup, the whole thing. "Thanks for paying for this," he said. "It came out great." Ryan rushed toward Jessica. "Jess, listen," he said. "We can talk about this. Don't do this here." Jessica didn't flinch. She took one step back, then another. Then she hooked her arm through Mark's arm like it was decided a long time ago. The crowd exploded into noise. People were shouting. Someone cried. Someone laughed. The priest just stood there, frozen. Jessica walked down the aisle with Mark, past everyone, past the rows of families staring in shock. Ryan stayed by the altar, staring at them like his brain couldn't catch up. At the big church doors, Jessica stopped and looked back at Ryan once. She dropped the microphone on the carpet beside the ring. It hit with a dull thud. Then she pushed the doors open and walked out with Mark, leaving Ryan alone at the altar in front of us. Now my family is saying I should have stopped her at the altar. Was I wrong?